On today's show, your Clippers are back, and your Clippers are back home. Is Kawhi playing? And what does this game on Monday night mean for the Clips? Going to be talking about it all in the week ahead on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, and in my 20th season as a Clipper fan. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper and LA sports and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video, and comment anything that you want to say about this episode, any feedback you have for me and whatnot. And Locked On Clippers now has a daily newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Clippers daily newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage, delivered right to your inbox, written by yours truly. Yes, please support by signing up for free now at lockedondaily.com. That's lockedondaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On Clippers newsletter. And this episode is brought to you by Robinhood. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. All right, Clipper Nation. Happy Monday. A new week. A new me. Just kidding. It's the same me, but it is a new week for the Clippers and a chance to bounce back from a 3-game losing streak. In this episode, we're going to talk about a little Kawhi's status the week ahead. But let's just start off with the recent form. You know, we've lost 3 games in a row. Those games have included the one against the Houston Rockets, the most recent one at Denver, and then against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the main reason why we lost those first 2 games is because I wasn't at them. No, I'm just kidding. But it actually is true. I wasn't at them, and I'm actually going to be there tonight. So if you're there, holler at me. If you see me, holler at me. After the game, if you want to come share your thoughts, I will be above the bridge, or I should say next to the entrance of the bridge, above the Intuit Dome. With the Intuit Dome in the background. If you're walking from the bridge to the plaza, it's the right-hand side. But, yeah, I think it's been our shorthandedness that's been the main reason why we've lost. We haven't had dudes. We have not had – Derrick Jones Jr., he got injured in that Minnesota game. And was it – no, he might have gotten injured in the other one. Was it the Houston game, Derrick Jones Jr.? I think it was the Houston game. Yeah, it was. The Houston game, Derrick Jones Jr. got hurt. But we didn't have James Harden against Houston. That was tough. So, yeah. I think our effort level, though, against Minnesota and against Denver was just not strong enough. We got punched in the mouth, and we didn't really respond. Amir Coffey even missed that game against Houston, and Terance Mann, you know, he's been out for all 3 of them because he got injured against the Portland Trail Blazers. So we've been a little shorthanded, and of course Kawhi's still not back. But we're playing the Utah Jazz on Monday night. And if we're being honest, Minnesota, Houston, and Denver, those are 3 of the better teams in the West. At least going into the year, you would have thought Minnesota and Denver would be 2 of the best teams in the West. But actually, it's Houston that's doing better than all, doing the best of the 3. But we'll see how things change as the season progresses. We're now in mid-December, so not even at the 30-game mark. By the time we get to 40, let's see how those West standings are shaping up. But the Utah Jazz on Monday night, Amir Coffey is playing because he was back last game, and he did not look like Amir Coffey at all. At all. And that's a little concerning. James Harden, hopefully he's looking a little bit more like himself. Just 15 points on 6 for 14 shooting in the last game. He will be playing. So I think just by the virtue of having James Harden, Norman Powell, and Ivica Zubac, we should beat Utah. You know what I'm saying? They are in tank mode. We've already destroyed them once this season at a game I went to earlier. They've just lost 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of their last 8 games. I mean, come on. Let's get a win. It's a must win, really, in my opinion, because, every game counts. I've never believed otherwise. When you're the favorite, you have to take care of business. And we still don't know when Kawhi is coming back. We heard, probably late December, early January, but hey, spoilers out. He's not playing in this game. So that's okay. The team that we have that has gone 14-12 so far this season, even despite the losses of Terance Mann and Derrick Jones Jr., they should be able to win this game without them. The biggest spot where the lack of Derrick Jones Jr. and Terance Mann hurt the most is our on-ball defense. Just our on-ball point of attack defense and straight up our athleticism. They're great athletes to get out in transition, but overall, their ability to play defense, guard multiple positions, and be alert off the ball as well. So we missed that with both of them out, and Derrick Jones Jr. has been shooting 42% from 3 so far this season. So, how can you complain about that? Utah, we got to win this game, man. I think it's just got to be your steady dose of James Harden, Zoo pick and roll, some Zubac post-ups on mismatches. Let's start our offense with our defense. The Utah Jazz, let me look at team offensive ratings right now, but I can't assume that a team that's 5-19 has a super high offensive rating. Okay, they're 22nd. They're the worst defensive team in the league. So there you go. We get stops, we get out and run, we expose their bad defense, and hopefully James Harden just has a really solid game and, kind of gets back on track a little bit. And then Norman Powell, when he can get on a heater, it's over. So I think we should win it, and I think it's a must win because you're going to be playing Dallas later this week, and I'll talk about that later, but you got to take what you can get, right? But anyway, coming up, going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard's status. There were rumors that he would play this game. We're talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. During the winter, my favorite methods of staying cozy are just being around my family a lot. And even though the weather doesn't get cold in Los Angeles, it gets a little bit colder. It's been a little colder lately. And being around the family indoors, maybe watch some Christmas basketball, that's always hit home for me. For some, wrapping up in a blanket with a mug of hot chocolate or watching a movie with family is the best way to spend the month of December. But therapy is a great way to bring yourself some comfort that never goes away, even when the season changes. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you got to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and match with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Clipper Nation. Monday night, we're back. My first home game since the one against the Portland Trail Blazers on December 3rd. So haven't been to Intuit Dome in about 2 weeks. Be really nice to be back there. And then we're going to have another damn near 2 weeks before another home game on December 27th against the Warriors. Maybe a Kawhi return date. I don't know. But speaking of the Kawhi return date, there were rumors that he was going to play in this game because it was his bobblehead night. Now, sadly, that's not going to be the case, and that would have been too good to be true. But make sure you show up early to get that bobblehead. And when I say make sure, I'm talking to people like myself. I am the biggest king of procrastination in history. So part of me is, I got to try to go early to get the free parking. If in the supporter section, if you arrive an hour before the game or before tip-off, but not actually tip-off, just an hour before when the game is slated, like 7:30, because we know they actually tip off at like 7:37, you can get free parking in the East Garage, but I miss out by 5 minutes all the time. And then I don't end up parking there. I end up just making sure I have a backup lot using the app ParkWiz. But point being that I'm trying to get there early. You got to get there early for that Kawhi bobblehead because I know people are going to be really wanting it. He's wearing like a Santa outfit, Santa Claus, Klaws. That should be great. But yeah, sadly, it was too good to be true for him to be returning on his bobblehead night. I also thought, people wanted him to just return before Christmas. So if he returns before Christmas, that would mean that he's making his debut on the road either at Dallas or at Memphis. And I don't know. I have a strange feeling the Clippers want him to return at home. But who knows? It shouldn't really matter, in my opinion. This isn't some spectacle. We need to get on with it and make the playoffs. And for God's sake, have Kawhi Leonard play a playoff game healthy for us for once. In front of fans. In front of a full sold-out crowd. Because if you want to nitpick all my little comments, I'm going to make sure I cover all my bases. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, a lot of that's not in Kawhi's control. But, this isn't the return of, Klay Thompson to the Warriors or something. We need to get him on the court whenever we can. At Dallas this week, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be coming back in these 2 games at Dallas. That's just me. And those are very high-intensity games for him to be coming back in. I don't think that's the move. And I'm fine with that. But we'll be talking a little bit more about the games this upcoming week later. But as far as no Kawhi, we've gone to that point this season where we're like, okay, how much longer can we, keep this up? 14-12 without Kawhi Leonard for 26 games. You've had guys like Derrick Jones Jr. and Amir Coffey and Chris Dunn overachieving. Although in Chris Dunn's case, I don't know if he is overachieving. He's actually playing really well and just getting a bigger spotlight to do it. Because now he's shooting 29% from 3 and 44% from the field. So he's not really shooting very well. But his defense is great, which I think is what we thought we were going to get coming in. Terance Mann, to me, is the only player that's somewhat underachieving. Nicholas Batum may be a tad, just a tad. But he's got his three-point percentage up to 37 now. And his field goal percentage is just 0.3% higher because literally, how many times do you hear me say, all of Nico's shots were threes tonight? We hear that a lot. So, basically all the shots are threes. True shooting percentage would be a better metric to use with Nico and a lot of NBA players these days. I just don't have it on the ESPN page a lot of times when I'm looking at the stats. But in Nico's case, maybe he's been a little bit worse than expected. But I think we're just slowly, going to increase Nico's workload as we get closer to playoff time and really look to manage him throughout the course of the season. Have him play more games but less minutes in those games. But now that he's shooting 37% from 3, he's starting to get back to what we know to be a very solid three-point shooter. Jordan Miller, he's even been, better in terms of we didn't know he was going to really get rotation minutes. And he has, and he's done a great job with those minutes. So we've had some guys overachieving. Zubac is having a career year. Norman Powell's having a career year. James Harden has been fantastic leading the way. But the injury bug's starting to roll in. Derrick Jones Jr. out. Terance Mann out. We had a bunch of guys all out in one game. The main pieces to this puzzle that keep us afloat are James Harden and Ivica Zubac. We just don't have anyone that can do what they do at all. So those two missing a combined one game, that's been the key to our success more than anything. Norm has missed 7 games, but that's still pretty decent. We were able to survive without him with, I believe, a 4-3 record. But Zoo and Harden are really the pieces that make everything go. If either of them miss a couple of games and Kawhi's not back, we're in real trouble. So my point being, we got to take all the games we can get until Kawhi comes back, because we're starting to get to the point where there's a lot of toll being taken on James Harden. How much longer can Norman Powell average 23 points on this kind of efficiency now that everybody knows he's the number one option? Right now, we're in 9th place. Now, granted, there's 3 teams above us that are half a game above us. We're 14-12, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, Golden State Warriors, and Phoenix Suns are 14-11. So if we win this game and we're 15-12, now we're 3 games above 500, which the Nuggets, who are the 5th seed, really are. There's some separation that's starting to be created a little bit, but it's only 1 game back in the loss column against the Nuggets. I don't know if I can say that, with Memphis, Houston, and Dallas. And I will say about Memphis, they were a great regular season team when they had Ja. So there's no surprise that now that they're back healthy after last year everybody got hurt, they're back to being a great regular season team. And a team that was on the rise, had the 2 seed 2 consecutive years, and has gone, and we're going to be seeing them later this week, which honestly brings me to next week. We're going to be talking about that coming up, but moral of the story, no Kawhi. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be coming back on the road trip. I think maybe the Warriors game is the one, or the New Year, but we got to win this game against Utah, because those next 3 games coming up on the road, they're going to be very difficult to win without Kawhi. And coming up, going to be looking at that week ahead. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. And FanDuel gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet on FanDuel for the game on Monday night. Bears-Vikings, it's a big one. Battle of some USC QBs. -7 in favor of Minnesota, and that game is in Minnesota. And then that is the last game of the week. You can also bet on next week's games, the Super Bowl, whatever you want. And where can you do that? FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right. The LA Clippers have one of their toughest weeks of the season in terms of who they're playing. 3 games on the road. Little baseball series type of action where you're playing the same team in the same house in consecutive games. Us against Dallas. And Dallas is good. We know that. 17-9 on the season. Won 8 out of their last 10. Klay Thompson, Luka, Kyrie. 2 games against them. And you know how Luka gets up for the Clippers. It would be really nice if we could split one of those 2 games after winning this Utah game. But if we lose both, in my opinion, it's not the end of the world, because they're just better than us without Kawhi. Like, sorry, but they are. However, I mean, we can still get a win. We can still get a win over there. The Memphis one, that'll be tough, because we haven't seen the Memphis Grizzlies so far this season. So that'll be a really interesting test, because we used to struggle against them when it came to on the road, especially. Their athleticism would really get to us. So I'm interested to see how we can keep up. But this week is crucial because if we lose 3 games in a row, let's say, even if we win this one, we're 15-15. Honestly, though, I hate to sound like I'm not satisfied. I'm sorry, opposite of that. I hate to sound like I'm not trying to win every game because I am, but again, I'm not on the team. So like what I say about, it's not like I'm trying to win games. I'm just talking about it. I'm hoping we win games. But 15-15 through 30 without Kawhi, that's still great. If you ask anybody, if the Clippers can go 15-15 without Kawhi, is that a win? They're going to be like, are you kidding? Of course it's a win. So I'm not saying that it's okay to lose 3 games in a row, but we are playing against better teams without Kawhi Leonard. They're just better than us. Hopefully, imagine if we win all 4. I just don't think that's going to happen, but hey, you never know. If we can beat Utah, though, that's just taking care of what we need to. And that's the start. You got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And then in the games that you're the underdog, try your best, which this team has proven to do every single game outside of 2 this season. And those 2 games are very recent. So I'm really hoping we don't start seeing that consistently. Like 2 performances, one against Minnesota, the other against Denver, where we just kind of gave up. It just felt like our, recovery level after we got punched in the mouth was not high enough to win against these kinds of teams. We need to be ready for that in these road games. But let's punch first tonight. It starts with James Harden, our leader. Right now, been the guy for this team. How about Zubac? Walker Kessler's a good shot blocker. Anyone else besides Walker Kessler guarding you, even Lauri Markkanen? Barbecue. Is Lauri Markkanen going to switch on to James Harden? If so, break him down off the dribble. Break him down. Hopefully they're not top blocking Norm and Norm is feasting, but we'll see. If we break them down, get some open shots, it really all starts with our defense, though. Get stops, force turnovers, get out and run. Last time we played them, we started by forcing a bunch of turnovers, and we need to see no differently in this one. Dallas, of course, that will be tougher. Oh, my God. What happened to my voice? That will be tougher. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA Sports, and NBA content. If you want to be featured on my channel, find me at the game tonight, and I will be more than happy to allow you to share your thoughts. And Locked On Clippers, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I see the YouTube number rising in terms of subscriber count every single couple of weeks. So please keep hitting that subscribe button for all things LA Clippers, coming to you from a passionate fan for 20 years. And let's get to 7,000. We are the most loyal fan base in the league, and I want to show people that. When I took over this channel, we were about 200 subscribers. So now we're over 6,000 more than that. It's been an absolute honor doing this, and I enjoy doing it every time. So yeah, is there anything else? Oh, the Locked On Clippers daily newsletter. Please don't forget to sign up for that. I spend time on it every single day. Your favorite podcast has a newsletter. If you can't listen to the podcast, and even if you can listen to the podcast, it gives a nice summary of it in about 500 words. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Clippers newsletter. Last thing, what's your favorite food at the Intuit Dome? Asking commenters, asking listeners. If you don't comment on YouTube, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast and give me what your reviews are for the food and what your favorite food item is. Comment on YouTube with that if you've gotten to the end of this episode, and if you are on audio on Apple Podcasts, write a 5-star review because you haven't had a review in a while. Why not? And let me know what your favorite food is at the Intuit Dome. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.